When the team looked at the data from Hamilton's car, they were completely stunned. And Charles Leclerc? He looked shocked too. This wasn't just about Hamilton being a little bit faster. It was way more than that. His braking, cornering, and acceleration were almost perfect. The numbers showed he was driving the SF25 better than anyone expected. So much better, in fact, that it's changing everything inside Ferrari. What was supposed to be a quiet weekend, just recovering after Leclerc's crash, has now turned into something way more serious. As soon as Hamilton went out alone in the second practice session, FP2, the car started telling a different story. It was a story of confidence and control. Hamilton was braking later, exiting corners faster, and keeping the car steady like a pro. Ferrari's engineers couldn't believe what they were seeing. And right there, watching all of this unfold, was Leclerc, seeing the same numbers, knowing that they belonged to his teammate. Now everyone's asking the same question. How is Hamilton doing this with the same car? Why are his tyres lasting longer? Why does the car seem easier to handle? Why is his energy use so smart? We're diving into all of that. So if you want to know how this could change everything for Ferrari in 2025, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stick around till the end, because this isn't just a fast lap. It might be the beginning of a brand new era inside Ferrari. From the moment qualifying started, something felt different inside the Ferrari garage. Hamilton, still learning the ins and outs of the SF25, was doing something no one expected, not the fans, not the experts, and not even his own team. And when the team looked at the telemetry, that's the data showing how the car is performing, the story was crystal clear. In the first qualifying round, Q1, Hamilton looked calm and totally in control. While other drivers were struggling in the slower parts of the track, especially with the back end of the car slipping out, Hamilton wasn't. At turn 3, where most drivers were having trouble, he used his brakes so precisely that the car stayed smooth and steady without shaking or sliding. By the time he reached turn 6, the data showed Hamilton was hitting the brakes 3.7 to 4 meters later than Leclerc, but still going faster through the corner. That's a big deal. It means he was pushing the car harder and still staying in control. At the tricky hairpin turn 10, Hamilton was also getting on the gas throttle almost half a second earlier than Leclerc, with fewer corrections needed. That made his exit cleaner and faster. And in Sector 3, usually one of his weaker areas in the Ferrari, he suddenly looked sharp and confident. That kind of smooth, high-pressure driving is what made the difference. Then came Q2, and the gap between the two drivers became even clearer. Both were using the same kind of tyres, but Hamilton had a smart energy strategy. He chose to save energy in the middle part of the lap, Sector 2, which is more technical and slow, and then used full power in Sector 3 to finish strong. Here's the twist. That energy-saving tactic was actually designed for Leclerc in the simulator, but because Leclerc missed the second practice, FP2, the team never tried it on his car. In Sector 3, his data showed he was consistently 0.28 seconds faster than Leclerc, especially on the long straight leading into the final chicane. That might not sound like much, but in Formula 1 it's huge, and it wasn't just about bravery, it was about skill and smarts. Hamilton was hitting higher top speeds too, about 0.15 seconds faster by the time he reached the end of the straight. How? It came down to two things: better energy usage and a cleaner exit out of turn 10. By managing his energy recovery system, ERS, better and getting a stronger launch, he kept more speed without pushing the car too hard. But the real game changer, tyre control. Hamilton's tyres were staying at more stable temperatures throughout the lap, especially the front left, which is super important in Montreal. His tyre temps only shifted by about 3 degrees Celsius across all 3 sectors. Leclerc, on the other hand, saw swings as big as 7.5 degrees Celsius. That meant Hamilton's tyres gave him better grip, more balance, and less sliding around corners. In Sector 1, the part of the track with fast left-right switchbacks, this really showed. Hamilton had more grip, while Leclerc's car was slipping slightly at the front, forcing him to brake earlier and get on the gas later. That tiny loss of time added up. But the clearest difference came in Q3. Neither driver was fast enough for pole position, but when Ferrari compared the data from both cars, the message was clear. Hamilton was driving with more confidence and control. His style was sharper, his car more stable, and his understanding of how to get the most out of the SF25, well, it was starting to outshine Leclerc. At turns 7 and 8, his cornering speed was, on average, 6 kilometers per hour faster than Leclerc's, and he did it while turning the steering wheel less. The data showed his steering movements were 11% smoother over the lap. That might not seem like much, but in F1 it means the car was more balanced, more stable, and easier to control. Because he didn't need to wrestle the car as much, Hamilton was able to hit the perfect line through corners, especially during rotation zones, where the car changes direction quickly. On their final laps in Q3, Hamilton gained time in 3 key areas. 0.22 seconds. In braking zones, 0.18 seconds. During rotation, 0.27 seconds. When getting back on the throttle, all of that added up to a total lap time advantage of more than 0.6 of a second. A huge gap for two cars that were supposed to have the exact same setup. People inside the Ferrari garage noticed. Tension was rising. Leclerc, already annoyed after missing practice, FP2, now had to face a hard truth. His new teammate had just outperformed him in a car that should have worked better for him. And this wasn't a lucky lap. The data proved it. Hamilton gave detailed feedback, adapted his style, and executed the plan perfectly. Even his steering technique stood out. After he asked Ferrari to reduce some of the delay in how the car responded mid-corner, and they didn't make the change, he still found a way around it. Instead of complaining, Hamilton adjusted. In high-speed corners, his steering became smoother and more controlled, with fewer tiny corrections. That kind of calm, confident driving is what separates the best from the rest. He was fighting the car more, making constant steering adjustments that threw off the balance and slowed him down in the corners. It was clear from early practice that Hamilton had the upper hand, but qualifying made the difference between the two drivers impossible to ignore. In FP1 and FP2, Hamilton was out on track, collecting important data and learning exactly how the car behaved. Meanwhile, Leclerc missed FP2 completely because Ferrari had to rebuild the safety cell on his car. And missing that session wasn't just bad luck, it was a major setback. He didn't get to test his setup, build his rhythm, or lock in a strategy. So when Q1 rolled around, Hamilton wasn't just ready, he was ahead. He knew how the car would respond in each part of the track. He had technical knowledge, confidence, and real-time feedback from the earlier sessions. And it showed. Now, as the weekend moves on, Ferrari has some big decisions to make. Leclerc will be looking to bounce back and fight on race day, but inside the team, things are already changing. Hamilton's data is now the gold standard, the baseline that Ferrari engineers are using to move forward. The numbers don't lie, and in Montreal, they told a story of one driver who used every lap to learn and adapt, and another who was left trying to catch up. This isn't just about who starts ahead on the grid. It's about momentum, mindset, and who the team starts to believe in. Hamilton's edge isn't only about the car, it's now psychological too. For Leclerc, the road to recovery starts under pressure. He's going into the race with less preparation, less confidence, and the weight of watching his teammate turn lost time into a crystal clear advantage. He came to Montreal riding high, fresh off podium finishes and full of confidence. It was supposed to be the race where he showed everyone that he was the leader at Ferrari, but instead of making a statement, he's been left chasing the shadow of his own teammate. Because what Hamilton did this weekend wasn't just about being fast, it was something deeper. It was pure mastery. Every corner, every break, every time he hit the gas, it all sent a message. I'm here. I get this car and I'm ready to lead this team. That's what makes this weekend so important. It's not just about lap times or qualifying positions. It's about what happens when a 7-time world champion steps into a new team, adapts quickly, and starts outperforming the guy who was supposed to be the star. Now Ferrari has a big problem to solve. This is a team known for passion, pressure, and sometimes even drama behind the scenes. But now they're facing something very real. The new guy is beating the one they've backed for years. So what happens next? Will Ferrari keep putting their trust in Leclerc, hoping he regains his form and reminds them why he's been their number one? Or will they slowly start shifting more attention and strategy toward Hamilton, the driver who's already proving he can lead the charge? One thing's for sure, Montreal didn't just shake up the leaderboard, it might have shaken up the future of Ferrari. He's not just fast, he's smart, calm under pressure, and able to turn problems into opportunities. While others struggle with the car, Hamilton figures out how to make it work. That's the real story here. It's no longer just about numbers or lap times, it's about momentum and control. In Formula One, when your data becomes the example everyone studies and your teammates becomes the warning sign, the power inside the team starts to shift. That's what's happening at Ferrari right now. So when the race starts on Sunday, don't just pay attention to who's fastest. Look at the body language. Listen to the team radio. Watch how strategies are called. Because if Hamilton pulls off another strong performance, this weekend could be more than just a good result. It could be the moment Ferrari starts turning to him, not Leclerc, for answers. And that would change everything. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more behind-the-scenes Formula One insights and let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Hamilton just flipped the script at Ferrari, or will Leclerc come back swinging when it really counts? One thing's for sure. Ferrari's future isn't just about the car anymore, it's about which driver is truly steering the story.